So what is going on, my fellow collectors? How is everybody doing today? Daredevil19 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Super Action Statue Drifters Toyohisa Shimazu. So let's get into it right away and start off with the box. So we do get a basic style box for the Super Action Statue Drifters line. So we do get the window right there in the front of the box. On the top says SAS, Super Action Statue. On the bottom says Drifters, Battle in a Brand New World War. And then on the left here says Toyohisa Shimazu. And then the bottom of the box does have the barcode and blah blah blah, nobody cares about. And then here is the top of the box. And then the one side of it with a very nice image of the Toyohisa figure there. And then the other side of the box, same thing as the one side, as you can see. And then the back of it does show a couple cool poses you can get the figure into, along with all of his accessories. But anyway, that is the packaging. Let's get this figure open to take a closer look at this really cool samurai warrior. Alrighty, taking a closer detailed look, and Super Action Statue, or I think it's Medicos, I think they're pronounced. They really did a phenomenal job with the detail on this Toyohisa. I think this is definitely the highlight to this piece here. The face sculpt, I think, turned out really good. Looks just like the character from the anime. Beautiful paintwork on the eyes. Nice clean paint on the eyes there. So really dig the way that turned out. One of my favorite parts about the figure is definitely the hair. The sculpt of it just looks sick, and I love the way they did the paintwork in it. It's like there's a black in there or a really dark brown, then they added another dark brown in there as well, and it just really turned out very nice. I don't know if the camera's picking up on it, but the shading in the hair just looks fantastic. Whoops, his head came off. The neck, good sculpt work on it. Is there shading? I can't tell, but you do see a little bit of gap when you have the lower neck joint all the way back. If you move it forward, it does hide it. A little bit of a paint issue on the chest where the skin tone is. You can see a little bit of the black under it, so they should have added more of the skin tone color on the chest. So a couple minor paint issues here and there, but nothing like horrendously bad. Now for the torso here, we do get the cool little vest with the X-Men symbols on it, just kind of, that's the his clan's symbol there, and they did a nice job with it. It is sculpted and the paint's pretty clean on it. The little tie here, nice sculpt on that as well. And the maroon part, the sculpted lines all throughout the maroon part, I do like how they added some black paint in it, or a black wash. Really love when figure companies do that, and there is shading all throughout the maroon and the armor, which is definitely a big plus. And then this black gi underneath, beautiful sculpted wrinkles all throughout it, the front, side, and the back there. And then for his vest on the back, very nice sculpted wrinkles all throughout it. Nice shading. We do get the clan symbol. Once again, nice clean paint on that, and it is sculpted on there. And then we do get a peg hole, which is for the stand. The arms turned out really good too. We get some beautiful shading and beautiful sculpted wrinkles all throughout it. And we do get the black paint and the sculpted lines on the end right there once again, so definitely big plus with that. And then we do get the armor on his forearm, which turned out really good. And I noticed this side doesn't have shading, but this side does. So once again, another paint error right there, but it's supposed to look like this, and that looks really nice when they add the shading on there. And the paint's pretty clean on it, and the sculpt looks really good too. And then on the inside, we got a couple straps holding up the armor right there. And then we do get some armor around, kind of around his waist or maybe his upper thighs. And then we do get the rope belt here, which does have shading on it. Beautiful sculpt work all throughout it on the knot and everything, and the sculpted wrinkles look sick. And then we do get the holster for his sheaths right here on the side. Very nice sculpt all throughout it. We do get like a little canister back there, which looks pretty cool. Then we do get another holster for his gun. We get some shading on it, and just beautiful sculpt work on the knots and everything. So awesome job on the belt. And the armor turned out really good too, and they're both on a hinge, so you can articulate them around, but we do get some nice shading on it. Very nice paint work and sculpt work as well on both sides. So really great job so far with this figure, besides the few paint issues that I picked up on. Now for the legs here, beautiful sculpted wrinkles on the pants. We do get some subtle gray shading on it, which looks really nice. Nice sculpt and shading on the back as well. And then we do get the armor on his knees and shins, and they put the shading on it. The sculpt looks good, and the paint's pretty clean on it. It's not perfect. Like over here, that maroon color went a little too far on the red. So a couple minor paint issues, as I've been pointing out. And then on the back, we do get a couple of white straps right there holding up the armor. Then we get some nice, couple sculpted wrinkles here and there on the pants. And then you do see the gray shading as well. Then for his feet, we get some very nice paintwork, some nice sculpted wrinkles on the maroon part there. And the white socks pieces, there is shading on them, but on my right one, where the toe is, the hinge, they forgot to put shading on it. They did it on the left one, but not on the right one. So same issue I had with my Nobu figure. But the sculpt and paint, besides that minor issue right there, everything else looks pretty damn good on the feet. And then the bottom of them, we do get some nice sculpt work on it and some black wash as well. So overall, to me, I feel like the detail is definitely the highlight to this figure. And I feel like for this figure line so far, the paint and sculpt just really look great on these figures. There is a few paint issues, but other than that, it really, really turned out very nice. And I can't be any more happy with how it turned out. But anyway, let's continue on. Moving on to the accessories, we get some pretty cool stuff included with this Toyohisha. So we do get a stand just like with the Nobu figure, and like I said, that's always a plus when you get a stand with a figure. So we do get the base, and then we do get the arm, and you do get the basic stand type of articulation. Then we do have the peg at the top that you can peg into the back of the figure. So we do get that. And then we also get two alternate heads. So we do get the one on the left that does come on the figure out of the packaging, which is the basic looking face, and this is definitely my favorite out of the two. And like I said, they did an excellent job with the paint and sculpt, so we do get that one. And then we do get like the grinning or like smirking type face, and I do wish that they included like an angry type face or like a yelling face or something like that. But once again, they did an excellent job with the detail throughout the hair, on the face. Just a little bit of a paint issue on his nose and his upper lip right there, which does kind of suck. And the way you interchange his heads is fairly simple. All you do is just pop it on the joint to put it on and pop it off to take it off. This head though, the peg hole is a little bit of a tight fit. It does fit in though, and it is like a softer rubbery type plastic, so it's not too scary interchanging them. So you do get those two alternate heads. And then we also get his old school gun, and I don't know the exact name of this pistol, but they did a very nice job with the detail on it. Where you see the wood, it actually looks like it's real wood the way they sculpted it. This piece right here, just be careful of it. I feel like it could break off. The barrel looks pretty cool though. I like the way that looks. On the other side, they did a pretty good job with it as well. Have a little bit of black paint on the end there, and you can holster it on the back right here. You just slide it right through the two loops like that, and you can holster the gun, which is definitely a plus. So we do get that. And then we also get his two swords and two sheaths with the sword handles pegged into them. So we do get the two swords here, and these are definitely my favorite accessories. I love the silver paint that they used for the blade. It looks like it's a real blade the way the light hits it and it shines off it. Just the silver paint is perfect for blades, you know what I mean? And then the crossguard and the handles turned out really nice too. Nice paint and sculpt detail on that. And we do get like these strings hanging off the end of the handle there. And my only issue with those is the way you get them to grip onto the sword, you kind of have to slide in these strings and then turn the blade into the hand. And I feel like the strings can break off at any moment if you don't put it on right. I feel like it would have been better if they made it so the string's either pegged in or the end of the handle unpegged, so you can peg it back in so it's safer for him to grip onto his swords. That's my only issue with the swords. Other than that, they did a beautiful job with the detail on them. So we do get the two samurai swords there, and then we do get his two sheaths with the sword handles pegged into them. And these sword handles constantly fall out, and it's so annoying and irritating. And this one here can't even fully peg in, as you can see right there, but they just fall out way too easily, and it's just annoying. But they did a very nice job once again with the sword handles, and the sheaths turned out pretty good too. And you can get him to holster his swords. We do have some loops on his belt, and you just slide them right in, and then they sit in there kind of like that. So we do get the two samurai swords sheaths, and then the sword handles in the sheaths. As you see, it just fell out right there, and I barely even touched it. So we do get those. And then we finally get 8 interchangeable hands. So we do get a pair of fists, of course, which come on the figure out of the packaging, and very nice sculpt and paint work all throughout these. I really dig the way the white wrappings look, and especially the armor on the top of the hand. That just looks sick with the paint and the sculpt. And the fists are the easiest hands to interchange. The rest of them, the peg holes, are just a little bit too tight, but you can get them on the joint. It's not as bad as Mafex, but I don't know how durable this figure company's plastic is, so just be wary when you swap out the hands with this figure. So we do get a pair of fists, and then we do get a pair of gripping hands, which are meant for the swords, of course. Once again, very nice detail all throughout it. You can see the fingernail sculpted on there. The white wrappings turned out really good, and the armor as well. So we do get a pair of those, and then we do get a pair of open hands here, and very nice paint and sculpt all throughout these. The white wrappings turned out really good, and the armor looks sick as well. So we do get a pair of those. And then finally we get a left trigger finger hand and a right pointing finger hand, and the trigger finger hand turned out really good with the paint and the sculpt, the wrappings and the armor and everything. And then the pointing finger hand, once again, the detail turned out very nice. So those are all the accessories included with Toyohisha. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review, shall we? We shall. God damn it. Now for the height of this badass samurai warrior. To the very top of his hair, it looks like he stands a little bit over 6.5 inches tall. And then here he is compared to the Super Action Statue Nobunaga Oda, the Figma Repainted Edition Guts, and the Variable Action Heroes Time Skip Luffy, and the Past Blue Romanoa Zoro. And then here he is compared to the SH Figuarts, the Dark Knight Batman, the 2.0 Scouter Vegeta, Jiraiya, and the Mafex 2.0 Joker. And then here he is compared to the SH Figuarts Awakened Warrior Super Saiyan Goku and the Mezco 112 Deadpool. Anyway, there's some quick comparisons. Let's keep moving on with the rest of the review. So now for the articulation, some points are pretty good on this figure, while others are just horrendously bad. And some of the joints are a little loose, not as loose as my Nobu figure, but they shouldn't be as loose as they are. So we do have two joints at the neck, the upper neck joint. You could get Shimazu to look up a pretty good amount. The hair does hinder it a tiny bit. Going down, he just looks down just a tiny bit. You do get a little bit of pivot out of, well, you do get a decent amount of pivot actually, and then it does swivel. The lower neck joint doesn't go back at all, but it does go forward a really good amount, so you can get them to look pretty much all the way down. We do get a tiny bit of pivot at the lower neck, and then it does swivel as well, so pretty good movement at both the neck joints. Then we do get a point of articulation at the torso right under the chest here, and you could get Shimazu to go forward about that much. It really doesn't go back at all because I believe it gets hindered by his vest right there, but the further you go back, or the furthest it goes back, there is a little bit of a gap, so you might want to watch out for that. We do get a tiny bit of pivot at the torso, and then it does swivel. The waist here doesn't really go forward that much with both joints. You're going to get them to crunch forward that much, but it does go back a lot, so with both joints you can get them to go back pretty good. We do get a tiny bit of pivot at the waist, and then of course it does swivel, so decent movement at the torso and the waist there. And then the armor around the hips are on a ball hinge, so they can hinge up and down, and they can swivel as well, and that goes for both of them. Now for the arms here, we do have a nice shoulder joint, so you can get the arm in a nice circular motion, as you can see right there, and then they do go out to the sides about 90 degrees. They do go up and down, no bicep swivel, so you will have to use it at the shoulder joint here. Then we do have single jointed elbows that bend in barely 90 degrees, which is a bit disappointing, but the joint does swivel where it connects into the bicep and where it connects into the forearm. Then we do have a ball hinge on the wrist, so it does swivel and hinges back and forth. Now for the legs here, this is where the articulation gets really bad. So the legs kicking forward, they do go forward a decent amount. Almost 90 degrees, gets hindered a bit by the armor there. And they do go to the back about 45 degrees. Then going out to the sides is just so bad. They barely hit 45 degrees. If you try to push it any further, they pop off the joint, which gets really frustrating when you're trying to pose around the figure. I don't know how many times the legs popped off on me trying to get me to articulate it out to the side. So to me, that's some very disappointing outward leg movement there. But we do get a nice upper thigh swivel. We do have double jointed knees that bend back all the way, so that's definitely good. And they do swivel where the joint connects into the thigh there. Now for the ankles, this is where we get bad and good movement. So we do get swivel. They don't go up at all because of the way the foot is sculpted. That's just a really bad design. They should have cut that off so you get some better up movement there, because that's not good. They do hinge down pretty good amount. And then for the pivot, we get some very nice ankle pivot there. And then we do have a toe hinge, but it's so tiny, I feel like it's useless, and mine are stuck on both foot, so I'm not even going to bother breaking them out of that. But Overall, I think we do get some pretty good articulation with this Toyohisa figure. Some points definitely are not as good as others, but you're going to be able to get them in some decent samurai-like poses. I'm about to show you some of them right about now. But anyway, that is my review of the Super Action statue, Toyohisa Shimazu. Hope you enjoyed it. If I had to rate this figure between a 1 through 10, I'd have to give it a 7.5. If you would like to know the price and where to buy this figure, I did get mine from Ageless Geeks. I'm not sure if he has it on the website, but I'm pretty sure that he does have it at his booth at Frankensons in California. And if you ever do buy something from agelessgeeks.com, don't forget to enter in codename Daredevil, and you will get yourself a 5% off discount. I will put more information in the description below. And if you would like to support the channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on that notification bell. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, just give it a thumbs up anyway, because action figures are awesome. But thanks for watching. I will see you later. So let's get into it right away and start off with the box. Kind of ran out of breath there, didn't I? And then on the left here says Toyohisa Shizumazu. Shizumazu, did I say that wrong or right? I don't know. I'm just going to restart. Damn it. And then on the left here says Toyohisa Shishu Shashashi Shusha Shu. Damn it. And then on the bottom of the box we do get the barcode of blah 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 stuff that nobody blues cares about. The Super Action statue Nobunaga Oda, the fuck blah 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 blah. So we do get one of the statue heroes. Damn it, I said it wrong again. Looks pretty cool, and everything else looks pretty good on it. A little bit of a paint miss. Peg on the wrist. I don't know how good of a real. Damn it.